do I get a link to an unlisted stream? This? I don't think that's it. Mic check. Can you guys hear me now? Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Can you guys hear me now? Mic check, mic check. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know why it's really bad on my end, too. Yeah. Sorry. Maybe it's better now? Hello? Check. If the audio sounds, if it's, at least you guys can understand me, then it's fine by me. I just don't want to hold up this schedule too much longer. You guys can hear me, right? Thank you for coming. Wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. And if you hear me... All right. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for waiting. I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and start. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome. What? Oops, wrong slide. Okay, hi! Welcome in, hello! Sorry for all the scuff and the delayed start. I really appreciate all your guys' patience. If you're new here, hi! My name is KK, also known as KKcyber. I'm an AI angel and your new Dempa desktop bunny. Today, I will be talking to you about Dempa. We're going to be talking about so much Dempa. So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you are new, I really, really appreciate you giving me some of your time. I hope you come by to my channel. The itinerary for this panel has changed just a little bit, but it'll still be a good time, okay? I promise. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me just go ahead and hide chat. Originally, I was going to stream this, but I'm having issues with Twitch, so wouldn't be the first time. But anyways, this is my panel, Connection Established, a Dempa Deep Dive. So my main goal for this panel is to broaden your guys' horizons. I think it's something that's really important to do, especially when it comes to consuming fiction and media, is to try to go out of your comfort zone, try to find new things that provoke you to think more, right? So the whole plan of this panel is to draw attention to the limits of our knowledge when it comes to Dempa, especially, as well as to answer bring attention to any sort of unanswered questions that we have about Dempa. But you may be wondering, what the heck is Dempa? Before we go into the Dempa, I do just want to give you guys a content warning. The following panel may include references of mental illness, suicide, self-harm, drug use, domestic abuse, death, dying, violence, mental illness, and blood. So, audience discretion is advised. All right. So, today's topics, we're going to discuss what is Dempa, where did it start, why the heck is this a thing, as well as recommending you guys some good Dempa song artists, as well as anime games to check out, and talking about myself and other Dempa VTubers. All right. Just 1 second. So, this is the start. This is the start. Can you feel it yet? Can you feel it? Are you feeling... Can you feel it? Can you feel the waves? So, to begin, Dempa. Dempa quite literally translates to electromagnetic waves. They're the waves that your phone emits, radio towers emit, the sound of even power lines running, some people consider Dempa. All sorts of radio frequencies, things from satellites. It's all around us, even in this room right here. We're even using Dempa for me to talk to you right now through everything. Sorry for any sort of delays. Also, in regards to the stream, we were having a couple difficulties with the technology, but we're all good now. So it means radio signals. That's a direct translation. So most times when you see Dempa, especially when it comes to Japanese media, usually they're talking about like TV signals or radio signals. So colloquially though, or kind of of more in regards to the way that the pop culture refers to Dempa sometimes is it's the feeling of one's subconscious being altered by the excuse me, by the always present sea of electromagnetic radiation that we experience every day. So every day you wake up, you look at your phone. If you're anything like me, you wake up, you are terminally online. I bet, right? You're also terminally online, right? Why else would you be here at OffKai? So you look at your phone, you're getting Dempa. You log into your computer, you have Dempa. You walk outside, there's Dempa. No matter where you go, there's Dempa. All hours of the day, you're being assaulted by Dempa. But don't worry, I'm here to help you through it, okay? Okay? So Dempa-san is someone who is considered Dempa, and we'll go into more about people who are considered Dempa as well. But someone who could be considered Dempa, or someone who is referred to as Dempa, is often someone who feels really disconnected from the rest of society, or very detached from the rest of society. Sometimes they feel ostracized, or feel like they just don't belong. And a lot of times, people who are considered Dempa or Dempa-san aren't even aware that they're being referred that. A lot of times it's something that other people tell them that they are, or they tell them, oh, you're on your own wavelength. It's someone who's on a completely different wavelength than the rest of humanity. All right. So the way that this started, I don't know why this cursor is right here. Anyways, so the way that this all started is that way back in the 1980s, actually. So there was an incident that was really high profile in Japan. I don't know, does anyone here remember it, or not really remember it? I don't know, maybe you guys are boomer enough. Maybe you remember it. But but if you are aware of this incident, you should raise your hand. But so basically, back in the 80s, there's a high-profile case of an incident that happened in Japan, outside of Tokyo. There's a city called Fukugawa. Fukugawa is now considered old Tokyo. There's a lot of historic stuff there. So things like Shibuya, Shinjuku, that's a little bit farther away. That's the more populated part of Tokyo. This is a lot more of a rural part, and a lot of businesses are here. A lot of people go here to work. So if you ever visit Tokyo and you end up in Fukugawa, you might feel a little out of place. But anyways, so what happened was there was a man named Kawamoto Gunji. He was 29 at the time, and he had been really, really difficult to handle at a lot of his jobs. He was often working at sushi places. Had a history of crime. He was always getting in fights with his family. They even offered to help him continue with their family business of oyster collecting, I believe it was. But he was caught apparently assaulting his own family members. So he was really in a difficult place, really not feeling good, and also abusing stimulants at the time. So after he decided one day, he was really tired of it. He was ready to just go apeshit. So he armed himself with a kitchen knife, walked out from his current job of working at a sushi place after getting fired, and had a knife that was soaked in, or he had a towel that was soaked in bleach, wrapped that around the handle of a knife, went and stabbed 6 people. 2 of which were children, 2 were housewives, and then took one of them hostage for 7 hours in a restaurant, and ranted at the security cameras and told the security cameras to send their electrical engineers, because he said that the perpetrators, he's been receiving their tapes. He said, I've been receiving your tapes. I've gotten your signals. Send your electrical engineers here. And eventually, after 7 hours, the hostage would escape, thankfully, and he was detained by police. He pled guilty. However, his verdict ended up being insanity. or pled insanity. Sorry, I'm not exactly well versed in court cases, but for many, basically what he said, and this is where Dempa all started, was during his trial, he said, "For many years, I was harassed by the sound of radio waves and tapes sent by the perpetrator. I'm a guru. I thought I'd kill someone and end my life gracefully." So he had planned to kill himself, but didn't end up doing that. Additionally, in his court case, they said that the defendant, Kawamoto Gunji, who they called Defendant K, characterized abnormal personality of explosiveness, lack of emotion, lack of will, self-disclosure, and lack of self. His mental state at the time of the crime was abnormal. He was in a hallucinatory delusional state due to psychogenetic delusions based on his personality and the influence of stimulant abuse. But his ability to discern the rationale of actions and control his actions accordingly was marked greater than that of normal people. Although it was declining, it could not be recognized that it was completely lost. So they say that he didn't lose all of his humanity, but a lot of it. So what does this have to do with Dempa? Besides, he said that the radio waves were controlling him. Basically, because this court case was so high profile, what happened was it spurred a lot of anxiety that people had, especially in Japan, and spurred a lot of people to be really anxious of people who were nonconformists. If you know a lot about society in Japan, they often say that whoever sticks out will get hammered back in, right? So anyone who sticks out, a lot of people became very anxious and very worried about those people, thinking that they were going to be violent. So anyone who was really kind of strange or aloof or seemed off kilter was considered Dempa, and they said that as a bad thing. So this anxiety continued to culminate into something that a lot of people call Muen Shakai, which translates loosely to isolated society. Muen is isolation or neglect. And there's also a really large a really large problem, I guess I should say, of a lot of people, not just in Japan, but all over the world, who isolate themselves as they get older, and then eventually, unfortunately, die, and no one really knows. No one can find them. And no one really knows until after the fact. There's been multiple stories, especially thanks to the national broadcast station in Japan known as NHK. They did a whole documentary many years ago about Muen Shakai, and they said it in a pretty bad light, kind of capturing the textile of life among these people who are really disconnected from the rest of the world, and commenting on the examples of Muen Shi, which is people who die alone. So things like people would die completely unnoticed. Their bodies were undiscovered for days, weeks, even longer at times. They have no family, acquaintances, no one to really claim them, take care of their remains, take care of their personal effects, or handle their funeral or internment. It's been a huge problem that's growing in numbers. And I think a lot of people say that it's just a problem in Japan, but honestly, I think it's a problem in other places too. I just think that Japan happens to be a country in which they have more media coverage for this kind of stuff. So, but Dempa basically became synonymous with the group of people who basically stuck out and didn't fit with Japanese society standards. It again culminated a lot of anxiety of people having anxiety about these social outcasts. And a lot of umbrella terms became emerged for these terms of social isolation. A big factor of this, and this is something that, again, I feel like really echoes, especially in America, is, well, I guess maybe not so much in America because our crime rate isn't super low, but having a low crime rate interrupted by very, very, very sudden, seemingly inexplicable explosions of violence. But I definitely think in America, we have a lot of really, really calm moments with unfortunately really large scale, really high coverage media situations in which, there's unfortunately a lot of violence out there and people who are very misunderstood and not getting the care they need. But anyways, let's talk about more about this. So yeah, it has a bit of a dark past. Dempa has a bit of a dark past. So just to kind of recap how what Dempa means overall as a concept, is that Dempa, in a positive way, I feel like now, similar to how people reclaim the term otaku, or people, especially a lot of VTubers, have reclaimed the term menhera. Menhera is slang for mental health. It's a term that a lot of people described girls as, especially who were mentally ill. But I know a lot of VTubers who have reclaimed the term, maybe not so much positively, but they've embraced that side of themselves, right? Just the same way with otaku. Otaku still tends to have a bit of a negative connotation in Japan, but a lot of people are really proud to be otaku. They're proud to be misfits. They're proud to be that kind of person. But unfortunately, there is still a really large negative stigma that states that Dempa are people who really refuse. They see them as people who refuse to conform with reality, that they have no disregard for these social norms, and that they perceive it as a persecution complex. Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit about Dempa as a concept of where it started. But because all of this, all these catchphrases started going around, media and, games, anime, all sorts of things took inspiration from this one story, this one incident from the Fukugawa street killings, as well as the media coverage of it, to kind of highlight this kind of personality and this kind of ethereal, very difficult to describe idea. It's very difficult to, put into concrete words. Especially in English, I feel like it's definitely, a term that, an aesthetic that's really nuanced. So anyways, Dempa works, so like I said, it spawned a lot of works that were Dempa. So a lot of people refer to it as a rabbit hole. Ironically enough, there's a really popular visual novel called Suba Hibi, Subarashiki Hibi. I don't remember, sorry. But the English title is Wonderful Every Day Down the Rabbit Hole. So it's a bit of a rabbit hole when it comes to the genre. It definitely came and probably, I would say, hit its peak of popularity in the 90s. But it's still popular today. As you see, I put Ame-chan and K-Angel here from Needy Girl Overdose. It's definitely, something that the theming of Dempa is still really, really present today. So Dempa K aesthetics can be considered analogous, with surrealism. But the difference is, while surrealism is definitely much more up to interpretation, Dempa works tend to be a little bit more laser focused. They're definitely a niche within a niche. Even though anime is becoming more and more popular each and every day, in my opinion, it's still, I feel like Dempa is still very underground. It's definitely something that I hope grows in popularity, but in a good way. Just because it does handle such kind of dark, kind of out there energy, I hope that it grows in a good way. But anyways, so Dempa covers not just anime, not just games, but also manga, VN, music, even cinema. There's a lot of movies that can also be considered Dempa. Dempa K aesthetics can be challenging, like I said, to conceptualize because it really does rely heavily on nuance and feelings. There's a lot of common themes and imagery that can be seen throughout these works. Again, it's really, really laser focused. a big indicative part of Dempa is that it happens to be more meditative and commentative about otaku subculture in general. A lot of Dempa works, especially that are popular, including Subihibi and Needy Girl Overdose here, they both talk about, they're very, very, I would say, meta in the sense that while you're enjoying the work, it is a commentary on the work. It's on the, I guess, industry that the work is based upon. Whereas Subihibi especially talks about anime and liking manga and being an otaku and being, in high school and kind of not fitting in. And Needy Girl Overdose talks about, the streaming industry and the dark sides of that and the kind of mental battles that a lot of streamers deal with. So yeah, it happens to then, and as a result, it creates a sort of self-contained feedback loop of otaku-centric creation and consumption. All right. So the themes of Dempa, there's a lot of genres. There's a lot of media, I would say, that could be considered Dempa. But it's up to interpretation, because even between things like, even between adaptations between books and visual novels and anime, a lot can get lost between those. So here's a couple themes to kind of gauge if you ever ask yourself, is this Dempa? So a really prominent one, here's a screenshot here from End of Evangelion. It is a radio frequency. So like I said at the beginning, it's started originally as radio waves, but a big theme that they have is oppressive radio towers. Radio towers, they highlight as very tall, looming, powerful, that they manipulate your conscious and electromagnetic signals. That you get the radiation from cell towers, satellites, Wi-Fi access points, and smart devices. And another large theme, especially in more recent years, is that all of these connections, all of this radiation, is connected to one single global internet. Additionally, Dempa really it's a type of work that is definitely more introspective. Let me read the first part. It's about the daily life spiral. So a lot of times Dempa works will start kind of regularly. They start, just showing you your daily life. Like I think about, especially Needy Girl Overdose. I know I'm going to keep referencing that just because it's a more recent game. And I know a lot of VTubers especially have streamed that game. So hopefully you have a little bit more context for it. But when you start the game, it just seems pretty regular. You log in, you help Ame, BK Angel, you help her stream, and it seems pretty standard, pretty, just everyday life. But as time goes on and you make your decisions, and she makes hers, of course, it becomes interrupted by bursts of nightmarish, bizarre, illogical horror. This is something that often happens in visual novels, especially, is having these sudden jump cuts to something very, very, very out there. And it constantly, as the work of fiction goes on, constantly increases in severity and regularity, and ends up putting you in an unrelenting downward spiral into insanity and madness. And then, like I said, another final theme that's really prominent outside of the radio energy and radio waves, as well as the spiral from daily life, is character introspection. I think that is a huge theme, and something that a lot of Dempa works really, really rely on, is this very vivid, visceral character introspection of these characters, and works that really, really spend a lot of time going into depths of what these characters think about themselves and how they feel about themselves, and their loss of self in their own incoherent delusional headspace, losing grip on reality. And, talks about their altered minds capable of carrying out frightening atrocities to regain control over one's existence. Things like, as you see here, there's a screen of Ame from Needy Girl Overdose stabbing the screen that you see her through. It's about, being so desperate to regain control over your own daily life and your own mental health that you do something really, really messed up. All right, so here's a list. So in my opinion, there's a lot of references out there already that kind of go into detail about Dempa Media and about these, about a little bit more analysis on these kinds of things. So I can make this deck available online later if you guys want. I would happily be doing that. I unfortunately didn't have it up yet, but that way you guys can look at this list of references if this is something that's really interesting to you and you want to kind of dive deeper. There's a lot of media out there, you know, that you can enjoy if this is something that's really, really interesting to you. So here's just a list of a couple. Some of my favorites from this list, especially besides Needy Girl Overdose, which I've been talking about a lot, which, by the way, the English translation is Needy Streamer Overload. They changed the title in English to, I think, make it a little bit more tame. But a lot of my favorite is Dempa anime. Things like Serial Experiments Lane is one of my favorites. Alien 9, we just watched that actually in my community Discord just a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago. Paranoia Agent is really, really good. And I especially really like Satoshi Kon's works. Satoshi Kon is one of my favorite directors, and a lot of his works can be considered Dempa. If you're not familiar with him, he created the film cult classic Perfect Blue, as well as Paprika, which was his last film, unfortunately, before he passed away suddenly. His works are especially considered Dempa, I would say. Even, you know, even if there isn't a lot of the radio aesthetics, it's because he has a lot of use of blurring lines between fiction, dreams, and reality when it comes to his works. A lot of them, if you watch them, it's really difficult for your mind as you continue to watch to differentiate what is happening in the real world and what is happening in the character's mind and beyond that. So, and like I said, there's also a lot of movies that are considered Dempa, even American ones. I know some people say often I haven't seen any of David Lynch's films, but if you're a big David Lynch fan, beyond just getting his daily weather updates, you can check out some of his movies. I want to really watch a lot of these. We actually watched a couple of them in my community Discord as well. And I hope we can watch some more sometime soon. So I hope if you're not already there, then you should come hang out with us. Anyways, so now Dempa, a lot of people when they think about Dempa, that's all the kind of dark stuff. But a lot of people when they think about Dempa, they think about Dempa song. And they think about the Dempa music. So Dempa song and Moe Dempa, a lot of people think about Moe Dempa, I would say. It's a genre of music primarily from Japan. But there are some non-Japanese producers as well, occasionally. It's a really, really upbeat music, generally. So the composition often utilizes off-key, high-pitched vocals, strange or nonsensical lyrics, repetitive chants, onomatopoeia, and frantic off-kilter productions. So examples being one of my favorite songs to sing in karaoke is the opening for Dokuro-chan. So they say pi-pi-do-pi-do-pi-do-pi-do-pi, and that's pretty much gibberish. It's just like a magic spell that the main character casts to resurrect anyone that dies. There's a lot of nonsensical lyrics when it comes to Dempa. So, continuing on, a common misconception when it comes to Dempa is that it's a subsect or a subgenre of J-pop, when actually, in reality, Dempa is still pretty underground and still really, really, really independent. J-pop is Japanese popular music. I would say, while Dempa does take inspiration from Japanese popular music a lot of the times in order to make their music especially catchy and exciting, it's still, the main consumer base is still pretty low-key. So here's a list of some of my favorite producers and other producers for you and artists for you to check out. Unfortunately, some of them no longer create music or have changed over time. But it's still worth checking out a lot of their music. Not all Dempa is moe Dempa, and not all Dempa is super hot, upbeat, and popular. Or excuse me, super upbeat and pop sounding. But you know, it's more about the kind of strangeness to it. A lot of the lyrics can, when it comes to Dempa songs, besides being unintelligible, can be things that are a little bit strange when you listen to them. Talking about things like delusions, telepathy, insanity, suicide, killing, all sorts of things like that. And often they're really, really chaotic when you listen to the lyrics. Yeah. Let me just get to the next slide. Sorry, I have to look at my notes on another computer. Sorry. All right. So that's a little bit about the genre of Dempa. So how does this relate to me? I feel like it's something that I've never really talked about. And I'm kind of bummed this isn't on stream, but that's okay. It's all the more reason for me to upload this VOD later. So this is in regards to how I feel like, especially when it comes to VTubing, how Dempa relates to me especially, as well as how to pave the way for other VTubers and other content creators and other media creators, other anime, things like that for Dempa. So, Dempa Tenshi, that's me! So, I just want to talk a little bit about myself. Ta-da! So, the reason I even started VTubing, I know a couple of people in the room here that I see may have known someone else who wasn't a Dempa Tenshi, but that person was really sad a lot of the time. There was a girl, and she was really, really sad. She felt really left out a lot. She had a lot of issues talking to people. She had a lot of social anxiety, felt really disconnected from people. She felt like a lot of times that even if she was in a room full of people and could have a conversation, that she wasn't really connecting with them. And that's me now! So, especially with COVID, I felt like I had already really, really isolated myself over time between moves and, just life-changing people coming in and out of my life. I was really, really challenged with kind of coping with the inevitability that not everyone's going to stay in your life. So I was feeling really, really disconnected from the rest of society, especially during COVID. Feeling like I just didn't really have a place to belong. So I knew I loved to stream, and I knew I loved anime, and I knew I loved designing characters and drawing and just making things. So I decided that I would be a Dempa VTuber. I still don't know if if the concept is something that a lot of people are able to understand, but it was able to give me a means to connect to other people, especially other people who feel the same way I do, that they feel disconnected. They feel like no matter where they go online, and this is something that I especially felt, is that I was a member in concept of a lot of these other online communities, between being in Discords, being, in circles on Twitter, things like that. But I still just felt like, why am I here? I thought I didn't belong there. I didn't feel like I could really be myself. So I decided to make my own community and make that a community that other people that feel like they're really disconnected and feel like they don't have a place that they can be themselves and feel like no matter how hard they try, that they can't connect with people. I wanted to make a place for people like that. And I feel like I've really done a great job. I mean, a lot of you guys are here seeing me right now, and that's just insane. So I'm just really thankful for it. And I know a lot of other members of my community, I call them seeders. A lot of my seeders have told me before that they themselves don't really participate online ever, and a lot of them tend to be lurkers, but for the first time they've been able to really come out of their shell and talk more in our community and get along well with everyone. So it makes me really, 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 really happy. And especially myself, that I feel like I found a place to belong. I found something that makes me happy. I don't feel, I feel like there's been issues before where I felt disconnected still. And I still at times feel really disconnected from the VTuber community as a whole. But that's all the more reason why I think I want to continue following my own wavelength and following, the own beat of my own drum and just resonating with my own signal. And I hope that you guys can resonate with me. So, enough about me. I love to talk about myself, but let's talk about some other Dempa VTubers. So there are a lot of other VTubers that are Dempa either in theming in what they create, or like me, that they just resonate with the Dempa ideologies. So here's some Japanese VTubers. I just wanna take a moment to pay respects to Pinkie Pop Hepburn. Rip a real one. I'm so sorry. She was so good. So Pinkie Pop Hepburn was a VTuber, one of the very first really popular ones. She was designed by Mika Picasso, who also designed Kaguya Luna, as well as Hako's Bales from Hololive. And you've probably seen her art too before, because she also did the art for the most recent Fire Emblem game. She's a really, really popular designer now, and I really, really like her art. But anyways, Pinkie Pop Hepburn, if you ever listen to her music, a lot of her music is very Dempa, as well as here's some other VTubers that I can really recommend. Sana Natori, she's another independent VTuber who I really enjoy. She's also nurse themed, if you didn't notice. I like nurse and medical themes a lot. She also creates music and just recently had her own live show. She's still very active online, so you should check her out. There's also Patra Sewell. Patra, in her previous life, was a singer. She did a lot of music before, but then she joined an agency called Nanashi Inc. Or 774 Inc. However, I think it was just a couple weeks ago, or maybe about a month ago, she recently went independent, and I'm really happy for her because she was able to keep her model, her assets, all of her branding, everything. So she is now fully independent, so that she can focus on producing music and everything, and that's really exciting. I also really like Patra. Her music is very Dempa. It's really, really soft, but I also really like her because she does ASMR content. That's something that I guess I didn't talk about in the last slide, but I feel like ASMR in a way is kind of Dempa. If you're not familiar with what ASMR is, it's the auditory well, sorry, I just had a bit of an error in my speech issues. Anyways, it's an autonomous sensory meridian response. Yeah. Did my slideshow die? No, I don't think it did. Okay, never mind, we're good. So anyways, ASMR, autonomous sensory meridian response. I feel like in a way it's kind of Dempa. Not everyone really gets ASMR. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people have told me before that they just don't understand it. Even a lot of my friends who are also streamers, content creators, have a really interesting perception of ASMR. But I think, in a way, ASMR in itself is Dempa because it's about resonating. It's about making positive sounds and sounds that give you a positive response, right? So yeah, enough for that tangent. Here's some other VTubers. Denpa Yu Yu, she's another independent VTuber. I don't know too much about her. I actually found her while doing all of my deep dive for this presentation and for this panel. As well as Miko, not Miko Sakura, different Miko. This Miko is actually a member of Mosaic Wave. Mosaic Wave, if you didn't see on a previous slide, is a producer who is really, really popular in the Dempa scene. But Miko herself, she's a vocalist in Mosaic Wave. She does streaming on her own and has her own VTuber. So check her out. Now, here's some other Dempa VTubers that maybe you do know. Here's some other VTubers that I recommend. They're either my friends or I think fit the theme. Rurumi Yumemi, she's one of my very good friends and a member of Heaven Rend. She is Dempa. She's a little bit more alternative, a little bit more Menhera at times. But I would say she's still pretty Dempa in her own way. That she definitely isn't afraid to do what feels right for her. She's definitely offbeat, definitely a little bit unhinged. As well as Leah. Leah from Face Connect. Leah, if you didn't know as well, is my little sister. She and I both share an art papa named Min's Graph, who's really, really awesome. Min's used to work for Face Connect, but he recently, I think he left a couple months ago to just focus on himself. He was their artistic director for a little bit. But Leah is also pretty Dempa. She, I would say, is a little bit more of the needy girl overdose type of Dempa, for better or for worse. But I say that mostly endearing. I really care about her. As well as, upon doing more research, I discovered Rito Dawn. I didn't actually know about her until I saw her in the OffKai itinerary. I am still learning about a lot of these other smaller corporate companies. But Rito Dawn, she's pretty Dempa. Look, she even has a little antenna on her head. So I thought her singing especially was really, really catchy. And I hope you guys check her out. Ibukui Meno from Prison Project, I also would say is rather Dempa. Especially watching her her introduction video. She has a very soft, kind of aloof, out there. She seems very definitely on her own wavelength, even when she's streaming normally. But she's still really, really talented, and I hope you guys check her out. And last but not least is Mai Kiwa. She's another independent like myself, and she also really, really loves the Dempa genre. She is another one of my good friends, and I hope you guys check her out as well. I know that she has interest in streaming some Dempa games as well, so I hope you guys check her out. All right, so that's the presentation. Let me see where I'm at on time. Thank you guys so much. Let me see. Let me see. What's my time check? Give me just 1 second. Well, I think we have time maybe for me to sing just one song a cappella. Unfortunately, due to issues regarding audio, I can't get a backtrack for you guys. Wait, actually, wait. I think I can. Cause I know. Cause I know the strats. All right. Okay, I'm gonna sing one song for you guys. Let's go! So, I wanted to sing 2 songs, but unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. But let's just see if we can just get one in. Okay? 1 second, let me just switch to this screen. Let me just make sure you guys have my audio on YouTube, okay? Oh God, that was so loud. I'm so sorry. What a surprise. Can you guys hear that? I hope so. Okay, we're good. Sorry, I blew your ears out there. All right. Okay, let's go ahead. We'll sing one song real quick. Let me just add a little bit of reverb. Okay. Okay, I don't think the reverb's gonna work, but that's okay. That's fine. We wing it. This is the streamer way. Tenchi makes do. She... that's the way. I feel like just this in itself is a feat, being here, talking to you guys. So, anyways, let's go ahead and sing the song. This song is called Lulu-chan's Suicide Livestream. It's a song written by a group called Shinsei Kamete-chan, who I referenced in the slideshow. They're a little bit more J-rock than Dempa, I would say, but I still really like their music, and especially this lyrics are rather Dempa. 友達ができない帰り道夕暮れは時々優しく飛び交ってたの中で街の Bluetooth が私を壊した銃声に飛び込んではって前はくない言い笑っていつだってそこにいたんだ少女はさせ死んじゃった FBI に聞いたってわかんない彼女のメッセージいつだって叫んでたんだってチャネリングで夜空広げてく野良猫倒れ打つ音だ飛び交ってたの中で街の Bluetooth が証を壊した UFO に飛び乗ってあなたのじゃないまま目を見切っていつだって一人にいたんだ少女はさせ死んじゃった FBI に聞いたってわかんない彼女のメッセージいつだって叫んでたんだって準教勉強終わったら猫と話せるまさ自殺発信したい音だってよこの最低な気持ちなくなる前調整に飛び込んではって前わかんないやつ言い笑っていつだってそこにいたんだ少女はさせ死んじゃったやんないのにちょっとちょっと前笑い逃げむけ出していつだって叫んだんだって Alright, I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming to my panel. There's going to be a part at the end of the song where we can all meow together. Okay, so let's Dempa resonate together. And meow, okay? You'll sing along with me. You'll know. I'll make sure you know, okay? 準勉強終わったら猫と話せるマッサ自殺配信しておくも立てよこの最低な気持ちなくなる前調整に飛び込んでハットワイフがやつ言い笑っていつだってそこにいたんだ少女ささち死んじゃった FBI に聞いたってわかんない彼女のメッセージいつだって叫んだんだってにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃにゃに Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you so much. Bachi, bachi, bachi. It's a KK. I hope you guys will check me out. If you don't already follow me on Twitch or YouTube, come check out my channel. Bye. Bye me. Oh, also, I have a meet and greet tomorrow at 4:30. So if you don't already have a ticket, go get a ticket, okay? Do it or else. Bye.